What if everything you remember and everything you anticipate is actually coexisting in a single cosmic moment? That's not just a premise from science fiction. It resonates with quantum physics and ancient spiritual texts alike. Are we living inside something intangible, a tapestry of thought rather than a mechanical universe? If this idea stuns you, hold on, because we're about to pull on the thread that unravels our standard assumptions about time. Physicists suggest the flow of time might be an illusion, while mystics for millennia insist that the past and future are mental constructs. Both camps converge on a single theme, that our reality may be consciousness-based. Imagine everything that's ever happened and everything that will happen, locked in a static block. Your perception meanders through it, and that's precisely what the block universe model implies. Meanwhile, quantum theorists like John Wheeler suggest that observation might be an active co-creator of reality. This resonates with certain Buddhist or Vedantic texts, which claim the external world is shaped by consciousness. Could it be that time is simply the mind's storyline, while true reality exists beyond past and future? Before we delve deeper, consider this. You're not merely moving forward in time. You might be scanning slices of an enormous cosmic memory bank, each event already there. Disorienting, right? Yet brushing it off doesn't erase the mounting evidence. From quantum tests challenging linear cause and effect, to mystical texts hinting that the universe could be an echo of thought, the puzzle is everywhere. Here's our preview. We're on the brink of revealing that the universe might be more mind than matter. From the vantage of conventional thinking, this can feel like really stepping into a sci-fi realm. But data from the most intriguing quantum experiments, such as delayed choice quantum eraser, suggests that outcomes can be influenced retroactively. This begs the question, are we truly witnessing reality, or are we shaping it? Perhaps you've heard about Schrödinger's cat, a hypothetical feline that is both alive and dead until observed. That's the superposition principle in a nutshell, a quantum concept that defies everyday logic. But here's something you might not know. This principle doesn't just apply to subatomic particles. Certain interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest that entire histories may exist in overlapping states, waiting for an observer's conscious choice to collapse them into a single thread. That alone should rattle our sense of linear time. To grasp how radical this is, consider the double slit experiment, in which particles behave differently depending on whether they're being measured. The most mind-bending twist occurs when the decision to observe is made after the particle has presumably passed through the slits. Even then, the outcome is retroactively altered. This implies that the future can affect the past, or at least how the past is recorded. Ancient spiritual teachings often echo this principle in more poetic ways. The Hindu concept of Maya describes the phenomenal world as a veil that distorts our perception of an underlying unified reality. Tibetan Buddhism, too, speaks of time as illusory, urging practitioners to see beyond the superficial flow of events. Is it a coincidence that these age-old insights mirror the revelations of 20th and 21st century physics? Or is there a common thread? We participate in the formation of reality, including the tapestry of time. Researchers like Henry Stapp propose that consciousness selects outcomes from multiple possibilities. If thought influences the manifestation of events, then time doesn't march forward as we assume. Perhaps it's sculpted by our focus, shaped moment to moment into a storyline we label past to future. Do we observe reality, or do we narrate it into being? That is the heart of the curiosity trigger. Each new glimpse of quantum insight dares us to confront the idea that we, as observers, shape time itself. Now let's interrupt the pattern of our neatly ordered universe with a startling idea. Experiments indicate that what we perceive as cause can come after what we label as effect. This is not merely science fiction-style speculation. In 2012, researchers at the University of Vienna demonstrated a quantum experiment known as the quantum delayed choice. The results hinted that decisions made in the present might rewrite how particles behaved in the past. That's a jarring break in logic that challenges the linear timeline most of us cling to. For those rooted in classical physics, this notion is an affront to causality itself. Time is supposed to flow in one direction, from past to future, chained by the laws of thermodynamics. Yet quantum mechanics keeps exposing cracks in that narrative. If the future influences the past, does that mean free will might also extend backward? Could our present actions be rewriting earlier events, at least in the quantum realm? This might resonate with certain perplexing teachings from Hermetic philosophy, which claim that time is malleable and that the universe arises from a grand mental plane. We also see parallels in the ancient concept of Indra's net, where every point in the universe reflects every other point, suggesting simultaneity rather than linear progression. That's the pattern interrupt. Everything we think we know about time and cause and effect can unravel under the scrutiny of quantum experiments and esoteric teachings alike. So how do we move forward when reality seems to slip out of our grasp? By acknowledging that our normal, linear sense of time might be an artifact of perception. Quantum non-locality, delayed choice effects converge on a radical idea. Consciousness and reality are entangled at levels we comprehend. Even if we rebel against this conclusion, the data and teachings keep pointing us in the same direction. Our next step is to see where this rabbit hole leads, and it's deeper than we imagined. Let's bridge science and mysticism even more explicitly. Quantum entanglement shows that two particles can be so entwined that a change in one instantly influences the other, regardless of distance. Before you dismiss this as mere physics, consider mystical traditions where distant healings and telepathic visions are described as mind-transcending physical boundaries. The parallel is striking. In both quantum labs and sacred texts, space and time appear oddly negotiable. Perhaps entanglement is a physical echo of an underlying oneness that sages have spoken about for millennia. The ancient Hermetic principle, as above, so below, suggests that the macrocosm and microcosm reflect each other. Quantum research, like Alan Aspect's groundbreaking entanglement experiments in 1982, made headlines for confirming that particles can communicate instantaneously, defying Einstein's speed limit. Meanwhile, spiritual lineages across continents uphold that reality is a unified field of consciousness. Are these separate discoveries, or do they converge on a single truth hidden behind different cultural lenses? Taoist alchemy describes a flow of qi, an energy that surges through everything, connecting all life and matter. Modern physics might not call it qi, but the quantum field resembles a sea of potential waiting to manifest forms. When religious texts speak of cosmic unity, they often hint that time is a mere construct. It's as if each tradition stumbled upon the same realization, that the world we measure is more like a permeable tapestry woven with conscious threads. Some scientists remain cautious about equating quantum phenomena with mystical experiences, and rightfully so, because rigorous evidence is the backbone of science. Yet the resonance between these domains is hard to ignore. From entangled photons mirroring each other faster than light can travel, to mystical accounts of instantaneous awakenings, the underlying hint is that separation might be an illusion. This mystical parallel reveals a stunning possibility. Maybe time, space, and matter are emergent properties of consciousness rather than the fundamental building blocks of reality. Throughout history, humanity has yearned to understand its place in the cosmos. From cave paintings hinting at celestial wonder to modern-day satellites probing distant galaxies, we've always searched for meaning beyond the visible. When quantum theories undermine our sense of a solid past and guaranteed future, we feel a jolt that's both exciting and unsettling. It reminds us of the awe we experience reading ancient myths that speak of gods who weave destinies, only to realize we might be the weavers after all. Our personal stories, cherished memories, and heartfelt hopes gain new gravity when placed against a background where time may not be linear. Consider the nostalgia you feel for a moment you can't revisit, unless that moment still exists in the cosmic ledger, waiting for conscious awareness to tune in. Think of the future you dream about. What if it's already woven into the universal tapestry, beckoning you to step into it? Emotional anchors ground these otherwise abstract concepts into the human experience. We have regrets about the past, anxieties about the future, and an innate drive to find purpose. But if time folds in on itself, are we forever entangled with our actions, past and future alike? Could forgiveness or resentment ripple backward, changing not just how we feel about events, but the events themselves? These possibilities aren't just intellectual curiosities, they strike at our core fears and hopes. Psychologists studying mindfulness and trauma recovery note that revisiting memories in a new emotional state can reshape how those memories feel. Might this be a microcosmic demonstration of how consciousness can alter fixed timelines? When doubts arise, we cling to linear progression because it offers predictability. Yet, if the mind truly shapes matter and time, then every present moment becomes a chance to redefine our past and sculpt our future. That possibility is as thrilling as it is terrifying, anchoring us in the gravity of each experience. So, how do we move beyond theory? Experiments like the Aharonov-Bohm effect show particles responding to electromagnetic potentials in regions that should be off-limits, hinting at realities existing outside our conventional viewpoint. Meanwhile, mystical adept practices, such as remote viewing or astral projection, suggest that consciousness might traverse domains we deem inaccessible. These different frameworks converge on one theme: that the boundaries of time and space are more porous than we once believed, inviting us to push forward into deeper research. Einstein's relativity already taught us that time varies with velocity and gravity, complicating our once absolute notion of chronological flow. Then quantum successes arrived, demonstrating phenomena that flout old-school cause and effect. Add the cross-cultural spiritual testimonies about transcending temporal limits, and you get an evolving mosaic where each piece challenges the standard timeline. Building momentum here means acknowledging that these are not random anomalies, but repeated clues pointing to a radical new paradigm. Emerging technologies like quantum computing exploit superposition and entanglement to perform tasks classical computers can't. Is it far-fetched to think that one day these same principles might validate nonlinear time interactions on a macro scale? Certainly, we need robust data. But each new study that challenges linear causality propels us closer to embracing a perspective that has long been whispered by sages. Reality is not a fixed machine, but a dynamic interplay of mind and matter. As more researchers test retrocausal models, where the future can affect the present, the sense of moving forward in time gets fuzzier. Yet that fuzziness is exactly where breakthroughs often emerge. Spiritual traditions anticipated this view, describing phenomena like prophecy or timeless awareness as natural aspects of advanced consciousness. If the puzzle pieces keep aligning, we may find that our quest isn't just about discovering new physics. It's about rediscovering ancient wisdom cloaked in modern language, forging a synergy that propels us into uncharted territory. Consider this: if time doesn't unfold the way we think, what does that say about our fears, regrets, and aspirations? The illusions we harbor about a linear progression might be the very chains that confine our potential. Many spiritual seekers claim liberation arises when one experiences the eternal now. Meanwhile, theoretical physicists like Julian Barbour argue that time is not a fundamental dimension, but a series of nows, each complete in itself. Could both camps be glimpsing the same truth from different vantage points? In a block universe or a reality shaped by observation, your life story might exist as one thread among countless possibilities. What if, in some version of reality, you chose a different path, leading to an alternate set of memories? The question isn't just hypothetical. It ties into the powerful notion that every choice we make might reverberate through time, forging or dissolving entire branches of our potential experience. Philosophers have long wrestled with the dilemma of free will versus determinism. But if consciousness plays a starring role in the creation of timelines, perhaps free will extends beyond the present moment, influencing your personal timeline in unimaginable ways. That realization can be both exhilarating and daunting. In this narrative, you're not just a passenger carried along a pre-written script. You might be the author, co-author, or editor of the cosmic manuscript. So where does that leave us? Perhaps at the brink of radical empowerment. Scientists continue to probe retrocausality and cosmic entanglement, while mystics keep exploring consciousness through meditation and inner journeys. Each side of the divide uncovers more evidence that time, as we conceive it, might be incomplete. The final question isn't just whether time is an illusion, it's whether we'll harness this understanding to reshape our reality. Because if the past, present, and future coexist, then infinite possibilities unfold with each thought, each observation, and each breath. Will you dare to explore further?